Is Chain of Memories really a spinoff? Time and time again, Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories seems to pop up as one of the most conflicting games in the series. And yeah, I completely get it. You just come off the high of playing the first Kingdom Hearts, living your best Disney fantasy, slaying darkness with the power of anime and Donald Duck by your side, swinging around your large key, and now you're asking me to play... What the hell? What is this? We got cards? What? I don't understand. Please tell me we can skip the stupid little card game, right? And unfortunately for you, no. There is so much more going for this game than what appears on the surface that I feel is seriously crucial to the Kingdom Hearts experience and the story as a whole. Now, on the surface, Chain of Memories seems very out of place with the rest of the games, making it easy to dismiss it as a spin-off. Because you're basically dealing with a completely brand new combat, like we're using cards for each attack, and we're being asked to do math to do combos. Like, math of all things. Like, come on now, really? And this is what I feel is the biggest turnoff, is that it makes the gameplay very jarring and tough, like surprisingly tough. Like I said, Kingdom Hearts 1 was like deceptively difficult. I would say Chain of Memories is like genuinely challenging. So if you're unfamiliar with how it works, basically instead of having full control to be able to mash X to do all of your attacks, each strike is delegated to being a card valued 0 through 9. And that goes for your physical attacks, goes for magic, it goes for items, and also for your summons. And simply put, you're playing high to low, so whoever plays the higher card or higher value wins. If you match or play a lower value, then you get interrupted as a card break. Likewise, if you play a higher value, then you get the interrupt and can keep attacking. You can then stash or stock these cards for later, and where the math comes in is through these special attacks, also called sleights, which require you to add up your cards to equal certain values, or sometimes combine different types of cards together as well, which during a boss fight can be quite frustrating. And the first card that you use in a stash actually gets removed from your deck. And it definitely adds to things feeling kind of overwhelming, because the combat, it will feel very stop and go for a while until you start to really get into it. And we're reusing Kingdom Hearts 1 worlds, sort of, more on that later. Also, the original GBA game started that trend of the series console hopping, which I think added to the perception of making the story weird. Okay, yeah, I know I'm not doing a good job of selling you on the game yet. Give me a moment. So why is Chain of Memories so important? Like, what makes it a must-play or a must-watch? Well, the story is a direct sequel. This game is not a spin-off. Like, this is probably the furthest away from a spin-off you could get in terms of story, which is why I implore that you still see the story. I basically consider Chain of Memories like mandatory reading, because we're picking up right where the first game leaves off. Also, the story is really good. Like, it's one of the better stories in the series, and I don't think that's an unpopular opinion. You're introduced to great new characters, and you're given strong characterization. You get to see a different side of the main characters that admittedly sort of disappears in later games, but it's nice while it's here. And it finally occurred to me why the story for this game is so good, and I think that's because it takes place in an original location. Like, we are revisiting worlds from the first game, but we're doing it within an original location. So you're not being held down by the limitation of the Disney worlds and their stories, and it helps in making the story feel a little more off the leash, so to speak. And the story, like, it's got layers to it too. That's all I'll say if you haven't seen it yet. So at the very least, watch the cutscenes. That's like all I'm asking here. Just don't skip it entirely. Seriously, it's worth it. What's also nice is that the card combat does become satisfying if you give it the time, like once you wrap your head around it, and it's like intensely rewarding, especially against boss fights. It's also one of the only games that lets you choose how you level up, which is, I guess, kind of minor, but still stands out for me. a lot of these mechanics actually add to there being a decent amount of replay value as well, because you're probably not going to collect every ability or every card the first time through. There are also like loads of really strong and unique special attacks that I kind of wish the later games would actually use, but oh well, they're cool while they last. And learning how to effectively use the card does become fun, but again, I get why it's such a turnoff. And because of that, there's like a lot of experimenting, like there's a lot of possibilities to try out with the combat. Like, will it make you mad? Yeah. Will it possibly traumatize you? I mean, sure, but it's still good. The game is a bit like you're being made to eat your vegetables. You know they're good for you, but at times it feels like a chore to get through, especially with Kingdom Hearts 2, like literally right there in front of you. But I see it like playing Chain of Memories is a bit like a palate cleanser. It helps you appreciate getting to play Kingdom Hearts 2 even more. Well, at least that's how I felt about it. And what's great is that if you've already decided to give the series a try, then it's already waiting for you in the collection, so it's not like you have to go out of your way to buy it separately, like I did originally. So you might as well give it a shot, and then come complain to me in the comments about how this game made you want to rip all your hair out. But definitely let me know your thoughts on this game if you've played it, if you've tried to play it. I still strongly suggest that you at the very least watch the cutscenes and don't skip it entirely. Anyways, thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed this, maybe like the video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye. Bye-bye.